These guys have this philosophy that you can just say anything, there's no meaning to songs. So then you're not trying to push anything. So what the hell are you doing? You're just making noise in that place, right? So that's Sri Lanka. And I think this is there in all these areas where, I saw this also in Chennai. I mean, you get people who are behaving like totally Western people. They look like Western people. They talk like Western people. But if you go to their home, their values and their culture is totally Eastern. So for heaven's sake, then why do you want to put on this damn act?
Like what you said, we need an identity as a support. That identity that I look up to is not my own identity. It's not being myself.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I gave an interview yesterday. So they asked about what do you write about? What are your lyrics about? So I said, what I write about is basically about myself.
Yeah.
I'm just reflecting on myself.
That was shocked the fellows.
The fellow was stunned. What was that? So I said, yeah, it's about myself. See, when I talk about myself, there's a thing that you forget. You see, the closest thing to you is the first thing that you forget.
Yeah, of course. You can't see your own eyes.
Yeah, exactly. You need a mirror. So the seer cannot be seen. So I was sharing and they were like, stunned for a moment,
Stunned. I'm sure they would be completely blown.
And coming from a heavy metal band, knowing to be, writing a dark, heavy, evil stuff. So I told him, to me that evil doesn't exist. To me, all that exists.
Anyway?
I said, what exists certainly is myself. I can be unsure about everything, but not myself. I'm sure about myself because I'm here and I'm responding to you. So that's the only topic that's worthy of talking about.
That is completely new for the metal scene here.
Yeah, so there was an interesting episode that we had yesterday with a reporter from I think Sunday leader. Yeah, so I was telling him that. So I realized, there's a lot of potential. I was quite pleased because you wanted to do this music and discourse thing. So I thought that'd be very nice if that materialized earlier.
That was a pretty good idea, but we found it very difficult to get sponsors.
It's not easy.
No.
Good. I'm very nice. I mean, it's nice to have met you actually, to discuss about all these things.
Yeah, it's good now that I met you, so I know who you are. We can be in touch when you're there. We can see whether we can work out something interesting.
Yeah, I mean, maybe when I pass through here, maybe I can, probably spend.
Do you travel much?
If I happen to, because I may be going to Australia, and
you have to come this way.
no, I mean I can if I want to. It depends if I can have any show here or something, or there's no show. If I happen to pass through, I can probably make a stop here and spend some time.
We've got a base in Chennai as well. If you do go to India, Arjun is in charge there. Actually.
Arjun, you're from Chennai. Where is it? Which part of Chennai?
On the ECR.
Is ECR?
The East Coast Road.
Is in Chennai itself. See, if I go to Chennai, then I can probably catch up.
Yeah. You've got a music lab there and a bit of an ashram kind of setup. So
I can speak in Tamil also.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I know a bit of Sanskrit, and English. So these are three mediums that I can share. I mean, I like to work with youths, and I prefer to work with youths because these are the fellows who are going to be future leaders. So, I mean, this is not a cult. This is not an organization. It's not a tradition. It's a knowledge that goes beyond all this.
That's the point.
That's the point. So we're not starting anything new. We're only re-establishing what has always been there.
Yeah, we always have to point out to people, nobody started this. Don't say this person's.
There's no beginning for this. In Anadi, there's no beginning for this.
Beginning for this thing. That's also very difficult for people to understand.
They can understand because people look at everything in a linear, scale in time.
They want to see a start.
They want to see a start.
They want to see an end. Yes.
We speak the same lingo, I realize.
No, it's obviously we're coming from the same place in that sense.
That's quite a, for me it's a very rare, today, as far as I'm concerned, it's a very rare meeting. Because I'm meeting someone, personally, someone with whom I can actually relate, connect, and we happen to speak the same language.
Oh yes, thanks to the British.
Yeah. And what the language seems to convey, also, I think the idea that it conveys to, I think there's a connection, so that's good.
That's another thing that we have found out. One thing is people who have shifted to the non-dual perceptual paradigm, they use the same language, the same words, but they use it in a different way.
Definitely. That I agree.
Completely different. It's up on my Facebook, you can see.
Yeah, that I agree. Because I've studied this non-dualistic thinking across traditions, across religious traditions.
Okay.
And I found the same thing. Because in every religion, this non-dualistic tradition is used, is described, because it's describing non-duality is an oxymoron. You can never describe it adequately.
Right, because then you have to split in order to describe
Yeah,
and then
so
stop.
they call it, you use it by indicative language. So because this indicative language, therefore there can be diversity. So people indicate it differently in their own cultural context. So therefore we find different words for the same thing.
And also the grammatical structure begins to change. Because now conventional thinking is all about cause and effect. So people will ask you, why did you do that? Nobody with a non-dualistic perspective will ask a dumb question like that. He might ask you, what made you do that, or how did that happen? He will not ask you, why did you do that? Because he's not thinking in terms of cause and effect. That it doesn't make sense to him at all. So you notice some kind of grammatical differences in the way these people speak.
Yeah. Like for example, this is something very interesting that in Tamil, Tamil Arjun, will say that the identification with the body, so among the Tamils, when someone is going to the doctors, to see a doctor, he says, where are you going, and then the person will say, I'm going to doctor. So in Tamil, எங்க போற? சரி நான் டாக்டர் பார்க்க போறேன். Then he asks, எதுக்கு போற? உடம்பு சரியில்லை. It's a very nice term. உடம்பு சரியில்லை.
No one will say,
I am okay. The body is unaware.
No problem with the body.
So this is cultural wisdom. That different every language is carried. My body is not fine, but I am okay.
I am fine. Yes.
So, like what you say, in specific cultural context, you can dig up this wisdom, that pours out. So in every tradition you see it. It is amazing. When you look at it from the standpoint of that culture. So displacing cultures may not be the solution.
You have to take what is there, bring it
Exactly,
together,
glean.
and you have a synthesis of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then you have what you could call the cultural expressions of the non-dual.
Yes, exactly.
That when people listen to that and look at that and say, yeah, there's something different going on here.
Correct. Cool. So, what do you do? Like in a given day, you go around sharing, or you do anything other than this?
Well, I have these training programs. I work with the corporate sector here. I have some of the biggest entities in Sri Lanka, which in a very small way are actually beginning to apply some of the principles, some non-dual principles in India corporate structures with major changes as a result. So I spend some time working with them. Then I have a normal practice in psychotherapy, clinical practice. People who have got...
So you're a psychotherapist?
Yes, I'm a psychotherapist, counselor, psychosynthesis. So I do that work as well. Then I have human resource development trainings, what I do with the corporate sector. I also do organization development because I'm not at all happy with this hierarchical pyramid, So I work with organizations, showing them how they can change their structure in such a way that they become much more dynamic. And I also spend a lot of time training top-level executives and boards in how to see processes. Because the conventional method of running a company is to shout at people out here.
I guess,
All over the place it comes down to that, whatever
yeah.
bullshit they talk, they finally end up shouting at people. But that doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah.
It disturbs the entire psychology and actually makes the situation worse. If there's something wrong, you've got to see how did it go wrong. Well, now change something to make it make sure that it cannot go that way again. That's all you got to do. No need to shout at anybody.
Yeah.
Then you train the people in following the new process and the job is done.
Very nice, the way you... I'm glad you are addressing all this. This is, human dignity is something that is... People don't seem to respect and accept. I'm glad you mentioned this. Interestingly, back in Singapore, I developed a model that is used in... a model for basically Hindus in the prisons.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. There are a lot of Hindus in the prisons in Singapore.
Okay.
So they wanted a model to bring about rehabilitation. Right. So actually I developed a model that is being used in the prisons in Singapore for all the Hindu inmates based on non-dualistic leanings. It's a whole psychophysiological approach using the person's physiology and psyche to bring about change. That's something that we have developed in Singapore.
Who actually does the process?
I